Okay, YouTube, we're going to be doing our first video for the channel today, so bear with us because it might be a little weird. So we're going to start with the deck tech. This is the main deck I've been running for probably the past 2 months now. It's a variation of the Pricia build that came out of Japan a couple months ago. So let's just jump right into it. So for our ruler, we have Pricia, the Beast Lady. You can pay 2 to J-activate. You can pay the attribute of any Sacred Beast with any attribute, and you can pay 2 green to pump up any beast by +1/+1. Not all that impressive on the front. But when we J-activate for 2, so this is a long list of stuff she gets. So she gets target attack if you control a white resonator, swiftness if you have a red one, flying if you have blue, and +2/+2 if you have a green. And you can also pay 3 green and X to search out of your deck 4 Sacred Beasts with different names. Then you may put 4 Sacred Beasts with different names from your hand onto the field. So it's a pretty powerful god art there in the end. Let's go ahead and look at the stone lineup first. They all produce green, but it's important that they produce that second color too. So we have 4 deep wood, 3 gusting skies, and 3 blasting waves. Pretty straightforward. The main reason of this is we do run the 4 Gretel. The Gretel is the most important deck card in this deck, and with this lineup you're going to guarantee hit a stone every single time because they are all windstones. Then just jumping straight into the deck, there are a bunch of different 1-drop ramp creatures out there, but you know, it all depends on the deck you're running. Elvish Priest is good, Moon Breeze is good. Personally, this deck, white is very important, so we go with the Wind Sprites. Now it's 2/2, tap to produce a white, not much more than that, but white is the color of choice for me with that extra ramp over the green and the moon, which honestly, moon's just colorless unless it's a Sacred Beast. And you don't want to be casting the Sacred Beasts anyway, you want to be putting them out through either Pricia or with How Long. And now we come to the reason we're running 4 of the deep wood over 4 of any of the other ones. Booty Cats. You know, 0/2, pop her out, draw 2, put 1 back, cannot be targeted by spells, and if she would go away, shuffle her back in your library. Probably, if not the best blue card in the game. It is the best blue card in the game. But, you know, it's there. It's a good chump blocker late game. No matter what point in the game you drop her, you know, whether it's turn 1 or turn 20, she's always going to be good. Now we come to, in my opinion, the most important card in the entire deck. We have 4 Gretel. I say she's the most important because, you know, turn 2, drop her out, you get a stone, it's just pure ramp. Yeah, Wind Sprite's ramp, but Wind Sprite can be killed very easily. Her, yeah, she's going to get killed easily, but you've still got your stone out of it. There's been so many times I've been able to go turn 1, Sprite, turn 2, drop Gretel, get the stone, call my stone, drop another Gretel, get another stone. Which it's just pure advantage if you can manage to pull off 2 Gretels on turn 2, and I've done it quite a few times. We will now move into our Sacred Beast package, which this guy is the only one I am running the full 4 of. Blaziken here comes down, swings for 4, which for some reason doesn't have flying. But the most important thing is, for each other Sacred Beast you control, that's 200 damage going to something's face once you pop him onto the field. The other reason he's so good to run for is that he's only a 2-drop. He's a curve ahead of every other Sacred Beast in the deck. This is the only one I would recommend going 4 of this guy. Then we have Blastoise coming in. 5/7, when he comes down, you bounce something that costs equal to or less than the number of Sacred Beasts you control back to their hand. But the most important part of this guy is the first time he blocks every turn, that damage gets prevented. The only time I'm ever swinging in with this guy is when I'm going for Alpha Strike for the end of the game. If not, these guys are holding back to block. He's a 5/7. He can put the hurt on something really easily. And of course we go into what a lot of people consider the weakest one of the group, but honestly the life gain off of him has come back and helped me bail me out of so many games it's not even funny. I think the lowest I've ever gotten is maybe down to about 500-600. My opponent's still sitting at 4,000, but once I start popping these guys out, either through a How Long or I get them through Pricia, all of a sudden I'm back to 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 life. He has bailed me out of so many games, and, the life gain might seem like the weakest, but it can get there. Next we have Superior. Pretty straightforward. If you control another Sacred Beast, you get a card. He's an 8/8, which is amazing. But, he pumps up all the other Sacred Beasts. So, you can get there for the Alpha Strike. You can hold that back if people decide to swing in. Hey, I'm going to pump, I'm going to block, my thing now lives, your thing dies. There's the beasts. Honestly, they're simple and straightforward. Now we move on to a little bit more into the ramp package. 3 Feathsings. Quick cast, can throw her out at any time. She's a 5/7, so she makes a great blocker. And she also prevents the next damage that would be swinging in by something. So if your opponent's like, well, I'm going to swing with my, 1919 Alice, no, you're not. Alice is now tapped down. Still, you got to figure out a way to get around the Alice next turn, but at least it's bought you a turn. Now we move on to what a lot of people would say is the most important. I'm still sticking with Gretel, but this is definitely the backbone of the deck. How Long. For each color you spend to play him, go get a Sacred Beast out of your deck, put it onto the field. That's incredibly powerful for 6. Plus, he also gets the +1/+1 boost for each Sacred Beast you control, so when he hits, if you go get all 4 of them, he's going to be a 14/14. I've dropped him out at as early as turn 2 before, which, several games I've gone turn 2, 3, How Long, turn 4, another How Long, all the colors. Next turn, Pricia, Flip, Goddard. If that's on turn 6, there's not a lot an opponent can do to come back from that. I still think Gretel is the most important card in the deck because nothing can, quite take the advantage of being able to get that turn 2, turn 3 extra land that's just going to stick and not going anywhere. But, Gretel is the most important card in the deck. This is definitely the backbone of the deck. Now we move on to a little bit of a late game bide your time card, but it's come in handy for me too. Go with 2 copies of Alice. Quick cast, target attack, any damage that would be dealt straight to you now goes to Alice. So your opponent's going to have to deal 1,500 damage to Alice first before they can even think about attacking you. Plus, if you get Excalibur out, now they have to deal 1,900 to Alice. She's sitting there on the same curve with How Long, but, she's just as good. That's it for the Resonator lineup. We only run 3 normal spells aside from Regalia. There's a lot of counters you can run in the deck. This is just the best one in my opinion. This is also one of the reasons I go with Elvish Sprite, just to make sure I have the extra white. Aside from this, the only other spell in the entire game that's going to hard counter something is Zeke's, and, Zeke's costs 1 more than this. This is by far the best countering spell in the entire game right now. Run 3 of them. You can run Keen Sense. You can still run your Zeke's while they're still New Frontier legal, but nothing can beat that right now. Regalia, we only run 1 of the Horn. We don't really want to be playing the Sacred Beasts from our hand, so it's not really important to have this out at all times. But, you know, if you want to play one from your hand, it's there. If you want to give Pricia the boost, give her Imperishable, she's there. If you want to shuffle this back in, it's there. But just the one of, it's not that important. And finally, we have 1 and 2 Excalibur. You know, it's just another one of those cards, just like Ala's late game. We've ramped out, just stall them down a little bit, go for our win. Plus, it also boosts up Pricia by another 400 and lets her get in there. So that's what we have so far. Hopefully we can get more up on the channel later. But this is just the first thing we wanted to get out. My assistant here really doesn't want to be too cooperative. I'm trying to get her to say hi to everybody. Hey, hey, say hi. Yeah, booby. Yep. So we hope to get more decks up soon as she flies across the room. Good girl, stay up there. So this is our first deck we've got in there. I have a pretty decent idea of what to do with Sacred Beasts in Alice Cluster. I hope to get that deck together, test it, and put it up sometime this week. I'm not going out what I'm trying with it. I want to test it first, but I think it could be very good, and I can't wait to get that video up to show you guys. But that's what I'm running now. That's what I plan on running this weekend at our local tournament. Go ahead and post some of your comments, your thoughts, and hopefully we'll get some more videos up soon.